It's January 31st, 2020, and welcome to episode 28 of the Baby Metal Podcast. We gather in the podcast Discord server on alternate weeks to discuss news and thoughts on the past and future projects of Baby Metal. We invite you to join us, whether you're a longtime fan or have only just arrived. I am Paul, and I am joined by Kevin.
Hello.
And Garrett.
What's up?
All right. So, Legend Metal Galaxy is now behind us.
It is.
And that is the topic for this show. But there's a couple of other little segments that we can talk about. There's some recent news to mention and some soon-to-be obsolete speculations about the future that we can talk about. Some of these are very soon to be obsolete. But, so it's been, I think this is now like basically 3 weeks since we recorded the previous one. And in that time, WoW broadcast a pro shot of the forum on January 18th.
Yes.
So
I assume you all watched it.
Yeah, I'm glad I finally got to see the whole thing, or most of it anyway.
That was cool. It feels like a long time ago now, but I watched it.
It does
several times.
Feel like a really long time ago.
Yeah.
What do we think?
But it was well, I know that what I like it looks great, like they all do, like it always does. The screen doesn't look as big as I remember it being.
I'll log into that later. Never mind. I was going to comment on the screen size compared to Legend Metal Galaxy, but I can get into that a little bit later.
Oh yeah, there's definite screen inflation going on here.
Yes, giant.
But yeah, so the other thing about also sort of related to the screen, but this is always true on the pro shots, but it's so tight on them, that you don't you lose the effect of the screen.
Yeah, I think so too. I would agree with that. But what you don't lose the effect of is the spectacle. They do a pretty good job of giving you just enough context to show you that it is in fact arena. There are effects, special effects, and things are happening.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I guess I renew my plea to Team Baby Metal to, next time they release something, have a angle that you can choose that's like a fixed shot. It's boring to watch unless you're like an actual fan, perhaps, but I would love to see.
Perhaps follow the lead of another band that recently did something similar that we won't talk about.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think it's actually not that. It's not unheard of to release things where you actually have shots that are like several different angles focused on individual people. I don't know. That isn't so important to me.
Mm-hmm.
But just one sort of wide shot.
Give us the wide.
Because I think actually I've often thought this about the choreography, but it's synchronized, and
yes, Paul.
Often it
is synchronized.
Well, what I mean is, like, if you think about like in Ine, there's like this moshishu thing that they do, and in Doki Doki Morning they all wake up in sequence and stuff. But if you're looking at each person by themselves, you kind of lose that effect of the kind of wave that sweeps through them.
Sure.
Right. And I felt like that happened a bit in this in this and all the pro shots, but I liked it.
I feel like
I liked it more than the Japan ones that we had before.
I feel like we've kind of ridden a sine wave on that. Like, they got better at editing these to provide more context and show you the wider moments when they do things like you just described. But now that I think about it, I think you're right. I think they stayed really tight in the forum pro shot. Part of me wonders if it's because, well, the running joke of the day was, it was sold out, but it wasn't really sold out. All of the tickets may have gone, but the pit had a ton of room in the back. There were a fair bit of empty seats. So I'm wondering if it's intentionally tight to give the appearance, the illusion that it was a little bit more sold out than it might have been.
I got that vibe from that for sure.
Yeah, that is my suspicion as well, that they well, and actually also the cameras were really kind of biased toward a side. So I think you don't notice this unless you were there and trying to find yourself. But the camera was pointed in my direction for maybe like 9 frames. So, I can find myself in Papaya, waving something in the background because I know that where I was and that my towel was pink.
Sure. Sure.
Dead giveaway, easy to find.
But yeah, so I was in 111, which is one of the VIP sections, and 126 was the other one, and the camera was pointed more toward 126. So anyone who was in 126 probably got a little bit more screen time.
Yeah, maybe. But I didn't get any. I know a ton of people who did, and that's pretty awesome for as many people to be shown as they did.
That's weird. Yeah. What was funny is that I remember seeing you on the actual screen, like in the venue. You got plenty of screen time. So that's, I guess, one other disadvantage of not having the wide shot. Although it occurred to me, again as I was watching this, that the big screen is delayed a little bit from what they're actually doing in order to sort of compensate for the sound speed, and so I think it might start looking pretty weird if they're actually showing like the screen when it's showing them, not some sort of background movie.
Sure. But I mean, you get the same effect in sporting events and other things.
Right.
Anyways, well, maybe the Koba edit will be different than the Wow Wow edit, and different people will get screen time.
Yeah, it's possible. I did actually, goofily enough, sit down with the Big Fox Festival, and to the extent that they are the same, like the Wow Wow and the Blu-ray, I went to check to see what differences there were, and they are very slight, but there are occasionally different angles. Mm-hmm. And my impression was that Wow Wow actually concentrated more on the audience than the one Blu-ray.
Sure, interesting.
So who knows? we might not have even less chance of seeing ourselves. But so there were some things skipped on the broadcast. Elevator Girl was played, but was not on the broadcast. Headbanger was played, but not on the broadcast. I'm pretty sure that they had, like, I am surprised that I can't quite remember, but I'm pretty sure that they had that sort of instrumental intro to Papaya, which did not make it into the broadcast, at least.
Well, now you got me thinking.
Yeah. So
the beginning of Papaya is so aggressive. I only ever remember sparks and explosions and in your face loudness and towels going everywhere. I don't remember what they do to lead into that.
Yeah, well, there is. It doesn't actually sound much like instrumentally. It doesn't sound very much like Papaya. It sounds a little bit more. I don't even know what to call it. Eastern.
Oh yeah, okay.
Strings, or I don't know.
Yeah. I know what you're talking about now.
Yeah, but anyway, it was not there. So, and I think all of that stuff will be on the eventual Blu-ray.
Maybe.
The other thing I was kind of disappointed about was that the very beginning. So the very beginning was super effective when you're actually there, because like when I say the very beginning, I mean I guess post Future Metal, because it was like dark or sort of blue lit, and then the screen turned bright white, and they were standing there like statues, and then it went dark again, and they moved in the darkness, and then it was bright again, and then it was as if they teleported.
Right, right.
That was like
onto the
coolest
stage.
effect I think I've seen them do in a fat minute, to be honest.
Yeah,
first time I saw it, my
really
jaw
cool.
dropped. Like the first time I saw it, I didn't click in my head what was happening, and then I rewinded and I saw, oh, there they are. Oh, they're gone. Oh, there they are again.
Yeah, but I kind of feel like they I don't know, they watered the effect down a bit on the Wow Wow broadcast, because when the screen, when it went dark, they chose to shoot the audience instead. So they went to the audience pointing at the stage. And then when it lit up again, then they went back to the stage, and so you don't really get that effect of them teleporting.
Well, maybe that will be a change for the Blu-ray edition.
Such a cool feature. You'd think Koba would take the time to actually make that more pronounced with his version.
Honestly, that really did. That was that had the biggest effect on me.
Showmanship at its finest, to be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah, the whole beginning of that show was just spectacular.
Yeah. Another thing that was a little bit strange was that Sue's voice was mixed pretty low, actually. Like the drums were loud and Sue was quiet in a way that I was not anticipating.
I noticed that compared to like videos or fan cams of Legend Metal Galaxy, Sue sounded loud and clear at Metal Galaxy from fan cams. I wasn't there, so I don't know, but
well, a fan cam's going to not really be comparable to a mix on a disc or a TV broadcast, because your phone is predisposed to pick up those highs. I'm wondering how much of that is wow over the air to somebody's computer being recorded, and if that's actually reflective of how it's actually mixed.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm pretty sure the one that I was watching was the direct transport stream. So it wasn't filtered through too many levels. Whatever it was, 10 gigabytes or whatever. But yeah. I mean, I think it wasn't bad, but I think it and it was whatever. It was nice. It was nice to actually see it. I was a little selfishly, I wouldn't have minded seeing myself, in something more than like a 9-pixel version, but anyway. So I will watch it again. I watched it several times on the day it aired, and then got busy and haven't
sounds about right
gone back to it.
Yeah, I watched it on my phone at a bar at an airport.
Yeah. Well, that was right. Were you actually in Japan at that point?
No, I was at LAX sitting at the bar waiting for my flight.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Anything else we wanted to say about that? Maybe I'll think of something, but at the moment I'm out.
It's expensive, right? We got the pricing for this thing? Did we not?
Oh. Have we not talked about that?
No, we didn't. So they announced pricing about a week ago as we record, and it's a little spendier. It's a little spendier than I expected.
That's true. Okay, so right. So I guess that was basically simultaneous with Legend Metal Galaxy.
It was there. I think they released that info the same day of the first show.
Yeah. And I already forgot how much it is, but we can figure it out. There is the one edition, but they also have editions that are sold by other, like Amazon and HMV and stuff. So, and even that I think is something like $80 or something along those lines. But so that even the one editions are pretty pricey.
Yeah, I want to say it was almost $200 US for the one edition of the forum.
See, to me that seems a little bit absurd. Yeah. I can't justify spending that much money on a Blu-ray, even if it did come with a towel. It don't, but
yeah. Let me see if I can find the announcement. BABYMETAL.com. What a wonderful site. Live at the forum. Okay, that's probably it. Here we go. Okay, so Blu-ray by itself, 7,000 yen. DVD by itself, 6,000 yen. The one limited edition, 18,000 yen.
Woo. Yeah.
You can order it all the way up to March 12th. And I think we're expecting this on May 13th.
Okay.
So that's when it's going to be released.
What does the one edition come with?
It says it has a Blu-ray, so one disc, 15 songs, a CD, 2 discs, 15 songs, and it says Apocalypse, 64 pages, which is presumably the photo book.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's rough right on the heels of Legend M and the Yokohama show that they released before.
Yeah. And I think it's the same price as the one edition of Legend M.
You're testing my web searching abilities.
If it's not, it's really close to the same price. And
yeah, they just actually retweeted those ads as well, because I think we must be getting sort of close to the end of the order period on those. Okay, so Baby Metal Awakens, The Sun Also Rises. That one is 9,000 yen.
Mm-hmm.
And the Legend M, which is the real one, the sort of important
Yeah.
one, is 20,000 yen. Yeah.
Okay.
So Legend M is more,
Right.
but by a little bit. Yeah.
Well, you can kind of open up to debate which one's more substantial to buy. Would you rather see Legend Metal Galaxy with all the stuff that came with it, or Legend M? I think I lean towards Legend M if I had to choose one or the other.
Well, okay. Did you really mean Legend Metal Galaxy? Because that one seems non-optional to me.
I mean,
Do you mean the forum?
The forum versus Legend M is maybe.
Oh yeah, I meant the forum.
Question.
My bad. Yeah, misspoke. I apologize. Yes, Legend M over the forum all day long. Metal Galaxy is way more important.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is that each of them has their something going for it, right? I mean, and I was at one of them,
Yeah.
and one of them has Moa Banger, so I mean, what can you do?
You kind of have to get that one.
Yeah, I'm probably not going to buy the forum, if I'm honest.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And
yeah, it's too late. I already did.
It was cool. It was a fun show. I don't know how rewatchable it is, at least for me, and I'm not a huge collector. I don't have to own everything, so I think I'm going to skip that one.
Hey, Paul, was there any hesitation when you added it to the cart?
Like the forum?
Any of them, like you buy like all of them, right?
Well, yeah. There wasn't really. But I mean, they're sort of, I don't know, they're trickling them out in a way that makes it easy to keep buying them, right? Because when all you had was Legend M, you have to buy that, of course.
Yep.
And then there's the forum, you have to buy that. But that was, I bought that before Legend Metal Galaxy actually happened.
Yeah.
Sure.
So
you almost got to roll the dice and try and time it right to get. I don't know. Never mind.
Yeah. However, I mean, it is nice, even though it's expensive. It is possible to get the the one version, which is not so bad. Of the forum.
Those were more reasonable.
There's also some. Or was there was a. So I had actually put this in the speculations about the future thing, but Billboard posted an article about sort of about this release, and they talked about the Blu-ray and DVD being due on May 13th, and they also said what the attendance was at the forum, which was 17,500, which doesn't actually sound that huge compared to like the 50,000s and stuff that we always talk about these bigger shows.
Mm-hmm.
But so the speculation part is just that I wonder if the fact that it was kind of posted in this kind of public way, and they mentioned like the Blu-ray and DVD is going to be out, maybe that suggests that there's going to be some sort of Western marketing of it, and it's not going to be $90 each.
Could be. I don't know if I'd bank on that, because we saw how much marketing there was for the forum in itself.
Yeah, but you can. I mean, like, you can get Legend S and Tokyo Dome, I think, through iTunes, right?
You can, yes.
Nearly nothing.
Yeah, they're really cheap.
Maybe it would be. I mean, I probably won't get those, but I would not mind actually if they broadened their reach this way.
So, yeah, that would be nice.
Okay, let's see. What else to say? Maybe we can leave the forum, because I'm realizing we've been talking for a long time about not yet the topic. A couple of like just little newsy things. Kerrang posted an interview with Creeper, who's opening for at least some of the EU tour. I can't remember exactly where they're like which shows they're opening for. But it was sort of interesting. I only sort of skimmed it, but in the part where they're talking about the Baby Metal tour, they talk about, they sort of phrase it in a way that's a little bit like, they thought it was an interesting match, and for the reason that Creeper thinks that they sound almost nothing like Baby Metal, so
yeah,
but yet there's a chance that they would be playing to an open-minded audience, which is kind of interesting.
Yeah, hot take.
I think the reason I thought I'm sorry, I keep talking.
It's okay, Paul. You're the host. I'll just go back in my corner. Call me when you need me.
We will need you a lot here. But no, the one of the things that was commented on, when this was newly posted, it was just sort of the logistics behind it. That I guess it's the matchup between opening band and headlining band is established in. It's not really probably like Koba just goes out and asks somebody. Maybe that sometimes happens, but there's also like people who are available. Like here's the list of people you could ask.
Right.
And Creeper presumably had, they were, from their perspective, they were trying to decide, is this a good idea for them? And so they're also sort of like trying to make this matchup as well. So I don't know. It's I always really kind of like thinking about and hearing about the process.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, let's see. We got a very short little BABYMETAL saying they can't wait to see us all in St. Petersburg and Moscow, which they told us in English.
How long has it been since we've gotten a video like that? It's been a fat minute, hasn't it?
6 months.
Yeah.
No.
We had the Do You Have Tickets one.
Yeah. It wasn't that long ago.
Yeah.
They did a couple of them over the U.S. tour.
And we had the Alexa thing in there too somewhere.
Oh yeah, I forgot about the Alexa one. That was funny.
Yeah, I can't not laugh every time I think about it. And okay, so the European tour is about to start. I mean, like it's Monday. Like we're recording on Friday, and it starts on Monday.
Yep.
We did finally get the merch for that.
We did.
And we are going to talk about the Legend, like all of the Legend Metal Galaxy stuff later. So just sort of thinking about the US merch and comparing it to the European merch. Is there anything that we wanted to say about that?
The Trooper hat is absolutely dope. And if I was in Europe, I think I would buy one. Yeah. But I feel like that's the only thing that's outstanding.
Well, I think that's the thing that's different, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's sort of new for this.
Is that the sweater with the... I keep calling it the Bluetooth logo. I think that's...
The Crush?
Is it called Crush? Yeah. Wait,
yeah,
no.
The
Galaxy long sleeve tee is what they're calling it.
Oh, that's not a sweater. That's a long sleeve tee.
Long sleeve tee. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, you're right. It says it right there in the name, Garrett. Come on.
Right. Yeah, and I think that it doesn't look too bad. There was a what was it? I forget which show it was. I think it was the like the one little ones or something. But there were versions of this Galaxy shirt that were like pink or something. Or it was a much worse color. This is a better color.
I would like to point out the zip up hoodie. Like I feel like everything else, it's all clearly not actual pictures of the merch, except for maybe the hat and the keychain. But the left-hand side showing the front of the zip-up hoodie is like just like Photoshop black with the BABYMETAL logo not barely even visible.
Yeah,
that's pretty standard.
Yeah,
or showing merch off.
Yeah, it's. I think overall, I don't know. So it looks like there's 1, 2, 3, basically 3 shirts that we've seen the designs of before. There's the Spartan Fox Warrior long sleeve tee. I'm not sure that I've seen. Maybe I have. Maybe that has shown up at some other time. But it really, actually, I guess my feeling is that there really isn't. There isn't a lot. The hat itself, we should maybe describe it a little bit. It's one of these. It's, I don't know what it's made of, but it's got sort of like a soft inside, and it's got ear flaps.
Yeah,
and
they call it the Trooper hat.
And straps. They strap around your chin.
Yeah, it does look pretty cool. But and they also have they are selling the vinyls. I don't remember the vinyls being in the merch list before.
Yeah, that sounds new.
Well, they sold it at the Forum, the regular and a special edition one. I think you could get the vinyl over the U.S. tour.
Yeah.
I know you can get the CD. I'm struggling to remember. It feels like such a long time ago.
Yeah.
Somebody in chat will correct me, I'm sure.
Anyway, it's not amazing, the tour, like the European part merch.
It's all starting to just look the same to me.
Yeah. But however, I mean, like, not amazing or not amazing, it's still, for the people who they're going, to tour through. What am I trying to say? Like, this is some people's first shot at getting it, and even if we've seen the shirts before, they haven't been available for those people to buy yet. So that's fine. And I do kind of like the one that they call the Metal Odyssey tee. I like that one a lot. I actually wear mine quite a bit. I assume this has the European dates on the back. I can't quite read it, but
yeah, I'm sure it does.
The only thing that I had left here before we start talking about Legend Metal Galaxy is like the fact that the European tour is about to start, and we could maybe think about what that means. I don't know if we can think about it out of context of Legend Metal Galaxy, though.
Yeah, I don't know.
Plus, we'll know on Monday what they're doing.
I'm not even sure if it's worth speculating about what's going on.
Right. So, although they did say, somebody, now I've forgotten who tweeted this, but I think it might have been Isao. Does that sound right?
Yes.
Who tweeted, like, good luck to the Western Comic Band?
Yes.
So, we know, quotes, know that it's going to be the Western Comic Band, at least initially on the tour. And yeah, actually, there's something that's connected to Legend Metal Galaxy that I think that causes me to speculate, but let's move on to that. Is that right?
Yeah, sounds good to me.
Okay, so the big thing. Welcome to the topic of the episode. Legend Metal Galaxy happened. It was January 25th and 26th, and it was where? It was Makuhari Messe, right?
Correct.
And Kevin was there.
I was.
And Kevin is going to tell us about it. There's many things that we can talk about here, but first, just go with your impressions, I guess. Like, what was your trip like? What happened?
Sure. Trip was great. Going to Japan is always fun. It's always hard to come home. Going for concerts especially are just a special experience. I'll say right off the bat, if you have the means and the opportunity and the willingness, get yourself over there, go to a show. You will not regret it. You will remember it for a very long time. Let's see. Legend Metal Galaxy. I will, right off the bat, I am going to say, I think for the first time on this show, we have made an accurate prediction. I do believe I said, and this will get into the set list, that they are probably going to play the whole album top to bottom. One disc the first night, the other disc the second night. And I feel so vindicated after all of these episodes, finally being right about something.
yeah. And I think I was probably more hesitant, but yes, you were right. Yeah. I'm pretty amazed actually that they pulled it off, and there's one little way in which they did not pull it off, but we'll get to that at some point.
Sure. So yeah, we left. Went for a whole week. Farted around Tokyo for the week prior to the shows. Then moved up to Chiba for the shows the morning of. Merch was a bit of a mess this time. For those of you that don't remember, there was a lot of merch for this show. There was an exclusive wristband each day. There were 2 masks, 4 shirts, a sweatshirt, and 10 patches that you could put on a $100 jean vest. And for those, I guess, if you don't know, that's kind of a metal culture thing, battle vest, right? You go to shows, you get patches, you put stuff on there with all your favorite bands. So trying to get to metal roots, I guess, with the merchandising this time.
Yeah.
And I really kind of wanted some of them. They were 900 yen each, so it's pretty expensive. But as it turns out,
the patches.
Yeah, the patches. As it turns out, they were impossible to get. Granted, we didn't get there super early Saturday morning because we had to took about an hour and a half to get from Shinjuku to Makuhari Messe, the event hall. So we didn't get there till about 10:30 in the morning to get in line for merch. Merch, I think, was at 1:30 that day. And if you don't know how Japan shows work, there's levels of tickets, right? The best ticket being the Super Mosh or Chomosh that you apply for and hopefully win in the lottery. Those are the pit areas closest to the stage. And if it's a like Legend M or Legend S, that's also the level of ticket where you get the special gift. Legend M was the everybody got the bracer, but if you were Super Mosh, you got the little water bottle holder and the commemorative coin.
The one that looked like a little grenade or something.
Yeah, the water bottle that looked like a little grenade. Unfortunately, we didn't have Super Mosh, so we were in the everybody else line for merchandise. And really the only things I was really kind of wanting were the patches because they were new. We hadn't seen them before. And they were sold out before Super Mosh was even done going through merch because they get to go through merch before everybody else. So that was a little disappointing because I got everything at Legend M without Super Mosh, which was surprising, even though those picks were really popular and sold out really quickly. I can only guess that they just underproduced those dang patches. And of course, by the end of the weekend, there were already full sets of them on Yahoo Japan and Bai, for a pretty decent markup. So people were buying them just to flip them, which is disappointing.
That is annoying.
Yeah.
It is really too bad that they didn't produce more. But this, I was kind of blown away by in comparison to what we were just talking about with the European tour, the merch is wonderful.
Yeah.
At this show.
Yeah, it's really very good.
There's lots of. There were at least three new shirt designs, maybe more. So like I had never seen the Infinite Galaxy tee before, and that looks nice. The Chaos Galaxy one, which is sort of, it's hard to see exactly what that is. Kind of like I don't know. It's like a TV. It's like a screen with interference on it or something.
Yeah.
Looks good. I really like the Fox God Mandala tee.
Yeah, that one sold out quick.
Yeah.
Of the shirts, I think that one went first. That was also, I think, the first patch to sell out.
Mm-hmm.
That seemed to be really popular design.
Yeah.
But yeah, just to wrap up merch, I did end up getting the rest of the stuff I wanted: the exclusive T-shirts, the wristbands both days, the towel. So I am pleased with that. Just a little disappointed I didn't get patches.
Yeah. But yeah, so the other, like the battle, it was a 10,000 yen battle vest that I guess the idea was that you would sew these patches onto it, but that's the first time they've sold that.
Yeah.
It's pretty wild.
I was a little surprised that as many people were buying that vest as they were. I mean, yeah, I guess it's kind of cool. It is branded on the back, but you can make your own for so much cheaper. If that was something I was into, that is definitely what I would have done. I wasn't gonna. I wouldn't have spent $100 on a jean vest.
Right. That just has, there's a sense in which what it has is something like the first patch, applied for you.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
They had a different hat. I can't quite read this, but it's not the same as the hat that they have on the European tour, but it's still a wintry hat. It's sort of like
Are those earmuffs that fold down? I can't hardly.
They
tell.
are. So I wanted this hat just because it was stupid. Like it's one of the dumbest. One of the dumbest things I think they've ever come up with. Eclipsed maybe only by the candle.
Right.
It was just so ridiculous, and it was right at the edge of what I was willing to spend money on for a joke.
Yeah.
But because this was Japan, I was concerned that it wouldn't fit my head because I have a huge Western head. It only came in 2 sizes. Fortunately I was able to try one on before I made a decision. It didn't quite fit my head. But I did get to hold one. And I will say it is a little disappointing. It's just a baseball hat with the fuzzy things with the fuzzy ear things just kind of sewn along the bottom of it. So I got to be honest, it did feel a little cheap.
Yeah.
Did you get your hands on the AirPods? Not the AirPods case or the skin or whatever it was.
Yeah, I did. I am a proud owner of the AirPods case. It's actually really high quality. It is surprisingly nice. It's probably 3 or 4 millimeter thick rubber. AirPods fit right in, close up. The branded carabiner is nice that attaches to it.
I wish they would sell just branded carabiners by themselves. 50 cents. I'd buy 100 of them.
The only thing that's disappointing is naturally they released an AirPods case, and I happened to have upgraded to AirPods Pro over Christmas.
Oh,
no. So, maybe next year they'll do the AirPods Pro, and I'll get to use it daily.
It just do you wrap it over your existing AirPods case, or does it replace the AirPods case?
Yeah, it's like think of it like a sleeve. You slide your AirPods case into it.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay. Because it actually is not very expensive. So.
No, it's not. I picked up another one the second day for a friend of mine as well. How's the logo printed on the case? Says Daniel in chat. It's nice. All of the merch was actually really pretty nice this time. With the exception of the hat, the fuzzy part being kind of cheap. It was all pretty decent quality.
Yeah. So let's see. So there are other things that they had. So you said you got these wristbands, right?
I did. One
for each day.
Yep.
And there were, what is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 patches.
10 patches.
Let's see. So there's the sort of familiar, I guess that's the one you call the Crush logo, the BABYMETAL.
Mm-hmm.
The thing that the keychains look like.
Yes.
There's the kind of stylized katakana version.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know how to describe all of these, but there's one, I think we were talking about this before, that actually just says BABYMETAL Death, which I was wondering if that meant they were going to play it again, but no. But yeah, anyway, it would have been neat to get those.
Yeah, it would have been. Hopefully they bring them back.
Yeah. Well, it does seem like that would be an obvious thing to just bring around.
You would think. You would think so. Yeah. Especially if they're going to get everybody to get this vest, Yeah. Going to want to keep
However, they're not bringing it to Europe. So,
yeah,
true. All this cool stuff that they had at Legend Metal Galaxy went away again.
Yeah. I think the biggest surprise on the merch for me was that the Kami mask sold out pretty quickly.
Yeah, I was just going to mention we hadn't mentioned that, but you could get the Kami band mask.
Yes.
Did it look like the ones they wear?
It did. It looked great. After the first day, all of the cosplayers out in the hall were wearing them that were dressed up as Kami. They look legit. They look great. And I was surprised that one sold out. I was also surprised when we got there that they had a lot of leftover merch from the previous shows in Japan. They had the like Galaxy design shorts, the thing that kind of looked like a tracksuit. And the
I think I remember seeing.
Yeah, that and the silver fox mask, just the Megaton Fox mask, was also available.
One of those.
Yeah, there was somebody who was just kind of like, live streaming outside, just like walking around outside. And I remember seeing some of those things like in a little cordoned off area.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's true. Merch that wasn't on this thing that we were just looking at.
Yeah, and it is on Osmart. So yeah, they must have just made a ton of that stuff, and it either didn't sell very well or they just way overestimated how popular it would be.
Yeah. Yeah, I do kind of like this, like the functional merch that they're getting. Like you have straws and AirPod cases, and
yeah,
it's pretty cool.
Yeah, it is. And I appreciate having a keychain that isn't metal now.
Oh, is that one not metal?
No, it's rubber.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So if you've been using the little, copper brass metal keychain from the tour a couple years ago, and you're tired of it bugging you in your pocket, I would upgrade. The rubber is much nicer.
Well, I wonder if that is like, there were these what were they called? But there were sort of like rubberish things that you could buy in sets of 6.
Rubber things.
They must be here. Okay, I'm just reaching up to grab mine.
Because you have them, of course.
Oh, you mean the Metal Galaxy keychains?
Yeah. Is it the same sort of thing as those?
No. So this is just the Crush logo keychain. Although now that you reminded me about those, you could buy the Metal Galaxy keychains, and they did come random. So you just told them you wanted that, and you just got a random one.
Yeah. Those are so dumb.
Yeah.
It's annoying. So I definitely have duplicates. The one I opened just now says Galaxy.
Right.
And I don't even know if I have the one I wanted to get was the one that Garrett likes to call the Bluetooth logo. I don't think I got one.
I'll defend that argument all day long. It looks like a Bluetooth logo.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm still. I think we talked about this before, but I think I'm still believing that it is the letters of Baby Metal arranged.
Yeah, that makes more sense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it could be.
Stop rattling things around here now. But, yeah, I actually just set up. I set up some shelves with all my various stuff on it, so I now actually have like all of my
proper shrine,
all of my unbelievable amount of crap visible. So my lunchbox is up there, and
yes,
whatever,
the lunchbox. Anyways, that was the merch experience. Bummed about the patches, but managed to get everything else, so that's okay.
Yeah, that's good.
I do have one complaint, and that'll lead into what I want to talk about next. While waiting for merch, we were lined up inside, all along the hall, which was the hall parallel to where the concert was happening. So we could hear sound check really clearly both days while we were waiting in the merch line. So it kind of spoiled what was going on. Because if that was truly going to be a surprise, that would have elevated it to a whole new level. Still incredible, but thinking back on it and imagining being purely surprised on what they were doing, would have just taken it to a whole new level.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty weird, actually. That I think there were no surprises, really. I mean, like,
there definitely was a couple of big surprises that we're going to talk about.
There were songs that you did not hear soundcheck?
Yes.
Okay.
A couple of big surprises.
Because there were the ones that I was expecting to be surprised by. Well, oh yeah. Okay.
Yes, we'll talk.
There was one huge surprise.
There was one huge surprise and a couple other little ones.
Yeah. But yeah, I can sympathize with that. I mean, like, it's cool to hear the sound checks, but at the same time, you almost want to hear it after.
Yeah. So first night I was in B block, which was stage left. To describe the stage, similar to what they did at was it Saitama? Was the previous show Saitama Super Arena? The big triangle things that raised up and down. So it was similar to that. It had two long runways coming from where those triangles were out into the crowd at about a 45-degree angle. So if you're looking at the thing top down, B block was kind of at the end and to the right of the rightmost runway. So actually pretty
as you're facing
the stage. So actually pretty decent view. I was really surprised. Usually when the foreigners get thrown in the back in a random pit. So we were pleasantly surprised that we had a pretty good view the first night. Mm-hmm. What was different about the stage, in addition to the 45-degree jut outs, is they combined what they had done previously with the moving stage that went up and down out into the crowd on scissor lifts or rails with the big triangle stage. So think of the main stage that they spent most of the time performing on as a square rotated so that the tip was facing the crowd to make a diamond. That whole piece not only went up and down, but also drove out into the crowd, like the stages from the Forum or from Legend M, Yokohama.
Yeah, I thought that looked pretty cool. Seeing that, I felt like I couldn't be 100% sure that the prior stages weren't squares, but they weren't, right? I mean, the square was a novel thing for Legend Metal Galaxy.
I think so. I'm not confident in what the other stages looked like because we don't have great reference for that.
Yeah.
So it's possible they were exactly the same. Just this one drove forward in addition to raising and lowering.
Yeah.
So yeah, walking into your block, we were just flooded with orange light on the first night. The whole back of the stage was black with the exceptions of two, I would say, medium to large size screens, just showing the rules, as they usually do in Japan.
I forget there was something that sort of, I think it kind of was thought of as restricting crowd surfing, but what was the...
No
nuisances.
Right,
there was no... Yeah, that was... I think that was it. No nuisances.
No
like,
no big head. Yeah,
things.
I took a picture of some of them because they were pretty funny. I kind of want to put the no big head costumes on a T-shirt.
It's funny.
In our chat room.
Such a common problem. Say no more of that.
Yeah. So that was pretty funny.
And of course, when I see that, I also have a... I don't know if it's... Maybe there aren't that many people that have this association, but I watch the show Silicon Valley with some regularity, and there's a character named Big Head.
Yes.
So that's what I thought a Big Head costume would be. But
so yeah, that was pretty cool. The crowd was already buzzing because we had heard BMC being sound checked. I'm sorry, I jumped ahead. We had heard Homage and I being sound checked the first night. So that was pretty exciting. So we knew it was coming. Concert started about 15 minutes late. Don't know why. I don't think I've been to a Japan show that's actually started right on the dot, which is interesting for Japan.
I don't think I've ever been to a show that started right on the dot. That's including BABYMETAL and any other band.
Yeah. Yeah, now that you mention it.
I mean, even us, we show up at least 5 or 6 minutes late.
We're
not even a band.
BABYMETAL podcast.
True. So yeah, show started about 15 minutes late. Started with a new I'm forgetting the word, a new lore video.
Yeah. I was trying to think of that word too. There is something.
Kambayashi? Is it Kambayashi?
Yeah.
I want to say it's Kambayashi or something like that.
Yeah.
But you have diligently transcribed it. Do you want to read it?
Well, I missed that one.
Oh, you did.
So I couldn't find a video of the one that started night one.
Oh, okay. Well,
and they are slightly different.
They are slightly different. The gist of it was, and this got the crowd really excited, is that at the end of it, it told us what we were experiencing was to be a one night only special event. So that they kind of gave away the game there, that they're going to do something cool and you have to be here to understand what's going on, and they're not going to do it again. So that got everybody super excited. And as soon as that was over, right into Future Metal, the same on-screen cinematics as the forum that they've done for that, with the flying Rubik's Cube spaceship thing, the flying lamp,
right,
leading to Moa and Sue being, built at the end of it, and then straight into Dada Dance.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, the crowd was going pretty good. Everybody was really excited. Same set list so far.
Those screens were huge.
Yes.
That was unbelievably.
I thought the forum screen was large. No, the forum screen looks like it would fit in my living room now. It went the entire length of the hall, and they're like 18,000 square meter halls or something like that. It went the entire length, and it also went stage to ceiling. And we were doing some estimating that it was probably about 20 meters tall, which is close to 70 feet, which is close to 70 feet tall.
That is giant.
Yeah. And it was at least 300 feet wide or something like that.
So you could say like maybe fit 4 or 5 forum screens into it, maybe. 6.
Oh yeah, easily. Absolutely incredible. This thing was freaking huge.
Yeah.
So if you couldn't see, you could see.
Yeah, well, and it was largely, you couldn't even get it on the we have a couple of fan cams, not many, but of course those were later, but the screens were for the most part bigger than fit on anyone's fan cam.
Yeah.
Yeah, you couldn't get it all in one frame.
Yeah, not to be outdone.
Scrolling from left to right.
Not to be outdone by the forum, I guess. Yeah, the screen was freaking huge. It's so impressive. Yeah. But yeah, similar set list to what we had in the US up to a certain point. Future Metal, Dada Dance, Elevator Girl, Shanti Shanti Shanti.
So one thing that and I'm not sure this is gonna, I don't know if it's pertinent up to this point anyway, but I can still mention it, that there were definitely places. So eventually they play Distortion and so forth, and then there's a video that plays behind that, and of course, when they're playing a video that's a produced video of some stuff, then you don't see what they're doing on the stage, right?
Right.
So,
right.
So that's, I'm sort of torn about that, because if you are far away, you can't see the stage. You can only see the screens. But if the screens aren't showing what's on the stage, then you just can't see. So there were on the wings, I guess there were smaller screens that were more likely to be showing the people doing stuff. But
yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. Whatever. That's all. So okay, but so where you stopped was where, like, the first the first sort of big event was.
Yes. So Shanti 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 ended. It got a little quiet, and there was a new video to be played.
Uh-huh.
I'm gonna let you read this one.
Okay, yeah. So
because it's pretty funny.
Yeah, so we got, it was a movie that's sort of like the ones that they had in all the older shows, with sort of a lore movie. I missed the first bit of it, like I wasn't able to hear or read it, but it sort of started off talking about this place, which I think was called Paradise, and now I rejoin the movie lore. This was the Japanese narrator.
Yes,
too.
The original Japanese narrator.
Yeah, so it says talking about this paradise place, a place invisible to adults, a treasured dream island. However, all adults were warned to never set foot on this land, as they would be cursed with the spell of unattainable desire. Welcome, please come closer, said the overly excited fox from the north, and lured the Winterland metal warrior to set foot onto the forbidden land. Thereafter, the fox from the north casted the spell of unattainable desire, which forced the metal warrior to uncontrollably dance to what was known as the Shakariki Moshish. So the other metal warriors who witnessed this scene were distracted, complaining, "This isn't heavy metal at all." Just as they were complaining about this, they were hit by the same spell, and to their dismay, they had their arms around each other's shoulders, uncontrollably dancing to the Shakariki Moshish. And this paradise would spread into the metal galaxy.
And then
it's this little, like,
and then you're suddenly greeted by this 70-foot tall, huge Joachim Broden from Sabaton starting Omajanai. And the only way I can describe this video is, if you're familiar with Monty Python, it felt like it was straight out of Monty Python.
Oh yeah,
with like this with like this Eastern European vibe to it. I don't know, but it was hysterical. I could not stop laughing and smiling.
First time I saw it, I was giggling the entire time. Like, I was almost too distracted. I'd watch it again just to listen to it.
Yeah, and the crowd went absolutely nuts when this started. So not only was the video spectacular, the choreography for this is out of this world. It's an Irish jig. It's great. It is so unlike anything they have ever done before. Like, it has more in common with Riverdance than anything you've seen BABYMETAL do before.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing that. You could really not catch much of this on the few fan cams.
Not at all.
And the joy that they had performing this was palpable everywhere in the building. They were having so much fun with this. It was hysterical. Like, everybody was just laughing and jumping and screaming, and just an awesome atmosphere to be a part of. It was nuts. And I got to say, this is not one of my favorite songs on the album, but this was such a bizarre and uniquely BABYMETAL experience that I find myself listening to this song more now.
Yep. It's the live effect.
It really is the live effect. Absolutely, just bonkers, out of this world. I can't wait for everybody to see what this looks like for real.
Yeah, I don't know what I'm hoping for. I mean, like, I don't know what I'm expecting, but I am hoping to see this sometime before, of the eventual either WoW broadcast or Blu-ray.
Who knows? Maybe they'll take it to Europe.
Well, yeah. So, I guess we'll talk more about that. I guess. But so this was the first time this has ever been played in public.
Yep.
So this was premiered there.
Yep.
And I really, I like the fact that it was funny. I mean, like they're funny.
Yeah.
I think I said this last time too, but like they are. There's a comicalness to them, a joy that comes out of that.
Yes, absolutely. It was definitely the highlight of that night for me. Yeah, spectacular. Not much more to say about that. It's just you have to see it to believe it. It's if it doesn't make you smile, you're not human.
Yeah. I think I may just go. It's hard to watch the fan cams, of course, because I'm so glad that we have them. But I mean, they're they're jumpy and whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So, but it was even in that format, it was very impressive.
Rolling on, they played Java next, which was pretty surprising. I think they played that at Yokohama was the last time they had done that, but did not expect to see that at all.
I'm glad that that's not going away though. I mean, like I think that song works really well.
I agree.
I hope they keep doing it.
I agree. It's a nice change of pace from everything else. And I got to feel, I don't want to feel entitled or brag, but I went to enough shows this year to where the set list was getting a little stale, if I'm honest. Like, it's still a lot of fun, but you hear the same songs over and over and over enough, and you're like kind of clamoring for something new. So hearing Java again was kind of a nice little breath of fresh air, if I'm honest. After that, we got another brand new song, Brand New Day. Yeah. Which was it's just beautiful. I don't know if any fan cams of this made it up or not.
One did.
Yeah.
It sounded great on the fan cam, so if any kind of pro shot's going to be very nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. The visuals that at least we could see on the fan cam was they were really impressive.
Yeah.
And you can tell that it's kind of what future metal was foreshadowing.
Yeah, I could see that. It definitely had, like a sunrise theme to it. I've said this before, they've definitely upped their CG and animation budget this year. It was very well produced. The visuals fit the song really well. It didn't distract from the song. Whereas Homage and I is like, I can't not watch, a 70-foot tall Joachim Broden, chant at me. This one was just kind of there.
Or an army, I've said.
An army of them. This one was just kind of there and really kind of added just to the mood and the vibe of the song, which was nice. And it kind of took a backseat to what was going on stage, which was cool. Sue's voice is just stunning in this song. She crushes it. They do play the guitar solos. There was some talks of it being pre-recorded and they were just air guitaring it. I don't subscribe to that.
I wasn't there, but on the fan cam it didn't even sound exactly right anyway.
Yeah, exactly. It didn't sound like the album version. It sounded like they had expected. Yeah, it sounded like they were playing it, and they highlighted the Kami with spotlights during those solos. So I think it was played live. It sounded great. I know that was one of the questions we had. How do you play this song live when you have two special guest guitarists on it? But of course they crushed it because the Kami band is incredible.
Right.
And I got to be honest, I don't remember the choreography a whole lot on this one. I do remember thinking to myself, it's more adult. It's a little less, kawaii, a lot less like the first album and even Metal Resistance. But it's familiar in, I would say, I would compare it to Kagero.
Yeah.
Similar kind of feel.
That was what I was kind of getting the sense of, was that a lot of these new things, they're using the same vocabulary or something like that. There is a similarity to the newer songs choreography.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not sure what to make of that. I don't feel like I thought that of older songs, but who knows? I don't know. I couldn't see it very well from my vantage point on the other end of a fan cam.
Yeah. From there, we moved on to some familiars. Gimme Chocolate, Make It Tanae. Not much to say there. It's always fun. The Japanese crowd, just gets into it. One thing we get in the West is you get maybe the first 3 rows that really know what they're doing these songs, and really get into the call and response and things like that. But it's a little different when you have 20,000 people doing it. It just, the vibe is awesome.
Right. So one thing that might be notable is that when you look at the track list on the Japanese edition of Metal Galaxy, it went in order basically.
Mm-hmm.
So they played Future Metal, Dada Dance, Elevator Girl, Shanti Shanti Shanti, Omajanai. Then they took a break for Yava. Then they played Brand New Day. And then they took a break for Gimme Chocolate and Magitsune. And then they skipped one.
Yes, they skipped the other Japanese exclusive. The
up, down, left, right, BB.
Yes. And there was a lot of discussion about this as to why it didn't happen. I kind of subscribe to the idea that they knew they couldn't play everything. They knew they had to play some classics. Just because that's just what bands do, right? You can't just play a whole new album. Your hardcore fans will riot. They want to hear some of the stuff that got you into the band, right? That's part of going to a concert. And there's no Sue solos. There's no Black Baby Metal. On this night, there was no Kami solo. So there's really not a whole lot of time between songs for these girls to rest, and I think it's easy to forget that what they're doing is a ton of work. It's exhausting, even in as good a shape as I'm sure they are. Which is why, I think set lists are shorter than they used to be, because they don't have these opportunities to catch their breath and take a load off.
But another thing too about this is that day one had a lot of premieres, right? I mean, so Orange was new, Brand New Day was new.
Yep.
I think we haven't quite said this, but we were about to say that Night Night Burn is new.
Yes, Night Night Burn was new.
And that's different from day two because we had a lot of the day two material from earlier on.
Yes.
I mean, same thing for disc two.
Yep.
I mean, that's the same thing.
Yep.
So I could certainly see saying that's enough premieres for one night.
Yeah, and they had to cut something to fit some of the older stuff in, and that's just what happened to get cut. I don't think it's impossible. We'll never see that song live. But
yeah, well, of course, and that spoils the fact that they didn't play it on the second night. Like they could have smashed it into the second night somehow.
Well,
and I think before the second night happened, people were thinking maybe that was still going to be a possibility.
Yes and no. Just because they were pretty clear from the onset that night one was the light force, right? Baby Metal has to go on this journey to find the good, and night two was going to be the moon. They had to acquire the dark force, right, to bring them together, and we see that in the album theming as well. The only interesting thing is Papaya being on the second disc doesn't really jive with that theme for me.
But they also played Karate the second night, and that was, from light era then, right? So
yeah, I don't know that it's era specific. I think it's more tone of the song.
I don't mean to jump even further ahead here, but they did play the Trilogy of Light on the Dark Knight too. Yeah.
But that's where it is on the album.
That's where it is on the album.
That's correct.
So anyways, okay. You judge that as you will. We rolled into Night Night Burn. Mm-hmm. Really sassy salsa choreography. Like, it was incredible. You could tell that they were just having fun exploring these different genres. They did this musically, and now they get to do it in dance. And it's definitely influenced by flamenco and that Spanish feel that you get with Night Night Burn. Sassy is really the only way I can describe the choreography for this one. Excellent. It was great. Again,
I cannot wait to see these.
Yeah, again, they had a background video for this song as well. It just kind of did its thing in the background and allowed you to focus on the stage presentation. So I don't remember it all that well. But yeah, it again, another great performance that they crushed for the first time. Okay, after Night Night Burn, we hit the one. This was another surprise to me for the evening. They played the one Japanese version. They didn't play.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, they didn't play the unfinished that they had been. They didn't play the English version. They played the Japanese version of the one.
That is fantastic.
Yeah, that was the first time I had heard it live. So that was really special for me. That was really cool. I don't know off the top of my head when the last time they played the Japanese version of the one was.
I believe it was a long time ago.
It was a long time ago.
Yeah. I mean, I listened to it somewhat regularly from some live recording, but it was really pretty close to when the album came out, I think.
Yeah, it might have been. Because I think they did the English version at Tokyo Dome. I don't think they did the Japanese version at Tokyo Dome even. So it's been a long time since they had played the Japanese version of the one. So that was a really pleasant surprise. And then, of course, they do the fake ending. And we start waiting for an encore because the lights didn't come on. Right. Now, if you remember our discussions leading up to these shows, one of the things they had teased in the promotional material was the kami of the East meeting the kami of the West.
Mm-hmm. And then playing a symphony.
And playing symphony together. And to this point in the show, that hadn't happened yet.
Oh yeah, and we never actually talked about that, but it was the Japanese kami band, basically.
Yes, sorry. It was
that was playing all of this.
Yes, it was the kami of the East playing on night one. And we kind of knew what was going on when the lights went down. At least I figured it out pretty quickly because I could see things being rolled out onto the stage, like amps and another drum kit. So that got pretty exciting. So the kami band played in white this whole night. The Japanese kamis played in the original white robe with the mask.
Very cool.
We got another lore video. It was the original Road of Resistance. I don't know if you remember, it used to be the Metal Warriors, Metal Gods, like Ozzy, Metallica, and they were talking about Metal Resistance and things like that. The kind of old, like Japanese style animation video. So it was the same video, but they changed the animation from the Legends of Metal to the two different kami bands in white and black, and lo and behold, they were going to come together to I don't remember the exact phrasing, but basically it told us they were going to play together, and sure enough, at the end of that, the narrator told us that you will create the biggest wall of death in the history of the world, or something to that effect. And then bam, right into Road of Resistance. With both sets of kami band. The kami of the West wearing the black, dark outfits that we saw on the US tour. And man, that note hits hard with double the guitars and double the drums. Let me tell you.
Oh, I bet. I can only imagine.
Yeah, that was. So I did want to ask about that. Like, they did in fact have two drum kits.
They did, absolutely. They wheeled out the second drum kit on the other side of the stage. The kami were set up two on each side of the stage for the whole show. And then they added two more on each side for two bassists, two guitarists, and a drummer on one side, the other drummer, and the other guitarist on the other.
That is wild.
Yeah.
That is really wild.
Yeah, so the lights come up with the first note. It's super heavy. It's super loud. And in another surprise, there's 5 people on the stage. All 3 Avengers are on stage for Road of Resistance.
And I mean, that was sort of also teased as that, that we were going to have all the Avengers. And we haven't really been talking about this because I actually sort of failed to find the information about which Avenger was doing what, but they were rotating through.
Oh, sure. Yeah, they split the set list pretty much exactly evenly. It was 12 songs. They did 4 songs each, with the exception of Road of Resistance.
They were all out.
Yeah, I don't remember exactly the order. I want to say night 1 was Momoko Kano, then Riho, and then all of them for Road of Resistance. So that was pretty cool. It was at this point I pretty much stopped watching. When the Queen says you're gonna go make the biggest wall of death ever, you go and you go to the pit and make the biggest wall of death ever, which was spectacular. We had a pretty big pit. For most of the show, there were kind of 2 pits kind of rotating counterclockwise that managed to amalgamate into one giant amoeba space waiting for the wall of death. And then they played the song, and it's heavy, it's raw, it's incredible. I'm spoiled. Like I can't even describe what that song sounds like with double the musicians. Like
Yeah.
you have to hear it to believe it. It's just special. And of course, at this point, everybody's losing their minds because we have 5 Avengers on the stage. We have all of the Kami on the stage. We've just been told you're going to, mosh your asses off and create the biggest wall of death ever. And nobody wants to let anybody down. So everybody's just using every last ounce of energy they have for this last song of night 1.
Yeah, that's so amazing.
Yeah, it really was.
Apart from Metal Galaxy, I tend to pretty much listen only to like live versions of everything, and I'm kind of wondering if this show is going to now replace my playlist basically.
It might. I have no problem saying that these 2 nights were the best set of shows I've ever been to.
Yeah.
So far,
yeah.
So far.
So far.
There's always Stockholm on Monday.
Yes. Stockholm's going to blow it out of the water, I'm sure.
I was kind of foreseeing to October, but...
So yeah, we run around in circles. We do Load of Resistance. We sing. We do everything. A nice touch. I mentioned at the beginning they had these 45-degree ramps that came out kind of into the crowd. All 5 girls ran down them and waved at everybody for the We Ares. Kind of reminiscent of Tokyo Dome,
Nice.
which was pretty cool. So we got surprisingly close to everybody as they ran up, which is always special. And then, the show was over. Never to be repeated again, according to the narrator. This was a unique one-night experience.
Awesome. Yeah. So, there was an outro movie.
There was.
Which I did transcribe. So I can read that if you want.
Sure.
So they showed Metal Resistance Episode 8, Odyssey to the Metal Galaxy on the screen. And then... Okay, so Legend Metal Galaxy. The legend about the massive metal galaxy that appears at the moment the sun and moon align. Now that Baby Metal has acquired the Light Force, Baby Metal will approach the next stage in order to acquire the Dark Force. The moon will shine through the dark night, to be continued on day 2.
Mm-hmm. And
this was actually in English by the In a World narrator.
Yes.
So they not only did they have all the Avengers, all the Kami, they also had all the narrators.
All the narrators. Yeah, everybody was back. Pretty cool.
It is kind of funny how the reception to Dark Knight Carnival was markedly different from the reception to everybody on stage with on Road of Resistance.
Yeah, I think the biggest difference was that we know who these people are. We've spent the last year getting to know Momoko, Riho, and Kano. And there was already familiarity from SG with 2 of them. And Riho is a huge star in Japan from Morning Musume. So we got an opportunity to know who they were, and it wasn't just sprung on us with some cheesy lore, right? So it felt special. It didn't feel forced.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think I fully believe that everybody was delighted by how that happened just now, but it is sort of funny just to think about like how there was kind of like a lot of gnashing of teeth of how many people there were on the stage before, and now it's actually great to see everybody.
Right.
So
right.
Yeah.
Definitely a welcome change of pace. And then slept, ready to do it again the next night for the dark side.
Yeah. I'm surprised at how much there is to say about this. So I guess so you got to night 2. How did
I got to night 2. I still wanted to get the patches, so we got up early and I went for merch. I got on the merch line at 8:30 instead of 11. I was much farther ahead, and I even found a friend who had gotten there at 7 and was probably in the first 100 people of the standard ticket line, not the Super Mosh line. I said, "Hey, here's 10,000 yen. Try and get me as many patches as you can." Because they were not interested in patches at all. So that worked out. And to be honest, before that person even got into the merch hall, Super Mosh had already cleaned out all the patches again. So I just bought the stuff that I bought duplicates of the stuff that people had asked for me to bring home. So that was merch. Nothing more to say about that. night 2, we were in Block C, which is odd because we actually had a better number on our ticket. Tickets are numbered. If you're not familiar, you go in based on the number of your ticket, and that usually determines where you end up and what pit you end up. So we had a better number, which usually means we have a better spot, but our pit was actually farther away. We were stage right, 2 rows back, so we weren't really that close to the stage at all. You know, which was fine because I wanted to mosh more tonight, or that night. We did hear and get spoiled, and we heard Sue rapping during the sound check, so we know BMC was coming. And everything else we heard getting sound check was familiar. So no anticipated surprises other than BMC going into this. So I told myself, all right, I'm going to get a good spot because I want to watch BMC. And then I'm just going to slink back into the pit for the rest of the show and mosh.
And I mean, I guess, you know, the structure at this point seemed pretty clear that it was, you know, disc 1 for night 1, disc 2 for night 2,
did.
plus some other stuff.
It did.
And disc 2, we know, like, we've seen all of these songs pretty much.
Yes.
I mean, you know, so
in the name
BMC
of
is the only one
that
we hadn't seen.
Yeah, started within the name of all 5 Avengers, just like the 2017 tour, but they had different costumes, but they had the face mask. They didn't have the giant hat thing. They had some like bird's nest thing on that wasn't okay. It wasn't really, it looked more like a, I don't know, like a crown of thorns than, yeah, that's probably the best way to describe it, a crown of thorns, and it was all gray. And they had a redesigned staff, but other than that, the choreography was the same.
Okay. Was it so was it maybe I can't quite even see the few photos that we have here, but in the original, like when we were introduced to In the Name of the first time, Sue did have she did have kind of like a weird kind of like spiky cloak hat thing that, you know, was not like the warrior things that we had in 2018, but it wasn't like this was different.
No, this was different still from that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It matched the style of the current costume.
Okay.
So yeah, that was the thing that happened. Woohoo.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I know that was, you know, we wondered if we'd ever see that.
We did wonder. But, yeah.
I mean, I guess if they really were going to stick with the album format,
yeah,
it seemed likely that they'd have it.
Yeah.
And it sort of fits well with, you know, in this parallel spot to Future Metal, right? It's a similar kind
absolutely.
of instrumental.
It sets up the Dark Side, Moon, whatever you want to call it, of the album well. I'll give it that. And then we rolled into Distortion. Distortion was Distortion. One thing I will say about Distortion was the power of Suzuka was really evident during this, during the clapping call of response. I think it was Moa and Kano was the first Avenger that night, were raised up on the back 2 stages, and Sue stayed kind of low on the center stage, and she gave the most intense death stare to the crowd, did not motion for clapping or anything. She stuck her right arm out, pointed her index finger straight down, and started stirring, calling for a circle pit, just staring everybody down.
Magical.
Yeah, it was incredible. And people, of course, lost their mind. And it's just really a testament to how she can control a crowd without having to use her words, move, do anything, but just slowly and subtly stir the pot with one finger.
I think she's been practicing the death stare of controlling minds for a couple of years now.
Yeah. So that was pretty cool. You know, we'd never seen her do anything quite like that before. You know, you can tell she was feeling it.
I saw a little bit of that on fan cam, and honestly, when what I saw on the fan cam, I thought that was actually almost pre-recorded. But I had heard that the background video to Distortion was different. You know, that it wasn't just the goofy music video that we.
No, it was the music video.
Knew from before.
It was the music video.
Okay.
Yeah.
So maybe it was actually just the stirring thing that was.
Yeah. They did have. It was a super tight close up of just her eyes on the giant screen. And the flanking parts of the screen were like a wider shot of her stirring. I don't know.
But it was actually, she was doing it at the moment.
She was doing it at that moment, but you know, I don't.
Okay.
She was standing so still that could have been live. a camera guy could have gotten that tight on her.
Right.
But I can't 100% say for sure that the super close up of her eyes during that moment was live or not.
Right. Though, I mean, if she knew that was going to happen, maybe she was standing still for that purpose,
it's totally possible that was rehearsed. So that was pretty cool. Then we ran into Papaya. Papaya was Papaya. The moving square stage thing drove forward with sparks, just like it has in the past.
Awesome.
Real sparks.
Yeah, pretty tiring going distortion straight into Papaya, if I'm honest.
Poor audience.
Yeah, towels going everywhere, lots of jumping. Then we went into Karate. Again, tiring. Going into another, jumping around, moshing song. Then that was over when the stage drove back. We had a little bit of respite. The Western Kami tonight got to do their Kami solo into Kagero, which is always nice.
So were the Western Kami, they were playing throughout, right?
Yes. The Western Kami were playing night 2 in their black costume with the face mask. So they did it sounded like the same solos, if I'm honest, from what we heard in the US tour, which I'm not complaining about. Listening to the drummer do those machine gun notes at the end of his solo will never get old.
Incredible.
Yeah, that dude can play.
I showed my dad that clip, and he's been drumming for like 40 years. He just goes, what?
Yeah.
I don't think his feet have ever moved that fast in his life.
The Japanese fans were actually really excited to see the Western Kami.
Cool. Yeah. We didn't mention this when we talked about the forum, the WoW broadcast of the forum, but the Kami band solo for that coming into Kagero was amazing, and you could really hear the drums very well. Yeah, you can. So I mean, that was just something.
Mm-hmm.
So another thing I wanted to say about this, as we're so we were sitting in the chat rooms, all following along, like what's the set list, what's happening, and so we are following disc 2, right? We have In the Name of, we have Distortion, we have Papaya, and then they really like what, I don't know what to say. They sort of punched us in a bit, in a way,
a little bit,
because then they skipped BMC and they went to Kagero, which is the album order would have been BMC, and they didn't play it.
Yeah.
And it's like, all right, well, now what? I mean, so have we lost Up, Down, Left, Right, BBAB, and BMC? I mean, but people had heard it soundchecked, so everybody was in a kind of like a frenzy in the remote chat rooms.
Yeah. I bet that was intentional.
I'm sure
for just that reason.
I'm sure it was.
Because we were all looking around when Kagero started, like, wait, what? So just the anticipation was palpable. Like everybody was waiting for BMC. Like you didn't show up to this show not wanting to see this, especially after hearing it sound checked. So, Kagero happened, and then lo and behold, BMC.
Mm-hmm.
Holy shit. That's really all I gotta say. It's everything I could have ever hoped for live. And I will say it is live. I picture I don't know, an Eminem music video with a cute twist for what you're gonna see. The part that really we need to talk about a little bit is her solo. I guess it's speed rap part in the middle of the song that she gets to do.
You mean the acapella part?
Yeah, the acapella part. So that happens. She does it live. It doesn't sound overprocessed or mixed. It's just her doing her thing. The stage was back at the beginning of the song. The lights kind of went dim a little bit, and it started playing the it continued playing the harmony rhythm as the stage with just Sue on it and a spotlight started driving forward before this solo.
Awesome.
Yeah, and then the music stops and she does it. And it's adorable. It's literally her rapping. And just I don't know how, it's like she turned into Eminem for 20 seconds or something, like the one arm was up, she was dipping her knees, just being a rap artist, and it was awesome. It was really cool, and everybody lost their minds. It was an experience. And again, this
sounded really good.
This isn't one of my favorite songs from the album. I don't listen to it regularly, but I might start after seeing this. It's the live effect again. She crushed it, and you could tell that it's her favorite song on the album. That she's mentioned before. She loves this song.
And she usually claims Homogenei, but we know that she. Well, I mean, actually, she also loves Brand Day. So she loves them all.
She said she's loved this song. I forget exactly which interview. I think she was specifically asked what she was looking forward to performing, and I believe she said BMC. And yeah, you can tell she had fun.
Yeah. So the one thing that sort of stuck out about the live performance that we didn't have. Well, there's two things I was going to mention, but the hand signs. Like BMC comes with hand signs.
Yes, it comes with hand signs. I completely forgot. So B is a sideways kitsune sign. M is kitsune sign upside down, so the horn's down, and then C is just a cupped hand C.
It's so excellent though, because of course she demos it, and then I'm sure everybody like went and started doing it instantly. Yeah. So that was definitely a highlight to this point of night 2 for me. Everybody was super excited. It was really cool. I hope they do it again. The other thing that I think was sort of interesting was that there was a point, I'm not sure exactly where it was sort of in the latter half, and it might have been when she was kind of on her own, that she almost cracked up. I mean, like you could hear her kind of laughing.
Yes. Yep.
which is even greater.
I think it was right. It was either right before or right after her solo, the acapella solo. Yeah, it's an experience. It's a trip. I can't wait for everybody else to see it. And I sound like a broken record, and I'm sorry if I make you feel bad, or if you feel like I'm bragging, but it was just an excellent experience seeing because it's so different from anything that they've done before in a different way that Homogenei was different, and that was I think was really exciting.
Yeah, I cannot wait. I assume that we are going to get the opportunity to buy this probably in the next the one period.
Oh, I imagine.
I assume they're going to announce this on Fox Day.
I presume, yeah. My guess is it'll release like Tokyo Dome, 2-disc set, maybe even a Sun and Moon version like they did Red Night, Black Night.
Yeah.
But yeah, Sue spat fire,
really cool.
And she pulled it off, and she should be super proud of herself because I'm sure that wasn't easy.
No, I'm sure that would. I mean, I'm sure it took forever to record.
Yeah.
And then to be able to pull it off, like you have one shot at this.
Yeah. I had this image in my head of them trying to rehearse this and just having trouble getting through it from all the laughter.
Yeah.
Yeah. Excellent.
My biggest fear is that it just stays in Japan like Syncopation did.
Well, it is Japanese exclusive.
But
I would be shocked if they played anywhere but Japan.
But I was thinking more like with that likelihood of not getting a music video either.
Yeah, who knows?
The closest thing we're going to get is live pro shots from purchased DVDs or Blu-ray.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll take it. I'm happy with that, but...
Yeah, no idea.
That's my prediction is exactly that, though, that it's not going to have a video it's not going to have a released video.
Yeah, I doubt it.
The thing is, it might actually serve. Well, I mean, there's many things that we could talk about here, but and we're not done yet. But this seems like it might be one of those things that people would share, saying like, "Oh, isn't this crazy?" Except that I kind of feel like the craziness of it is mainly it's sort of contrasting with what we already know about.
Oh, totally, absolutely.
It's not crazy, sort of on its own.
Yeah, no, I'd agree with that.
Whereas Homogenei is crazy, like from any perspective.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, that's really all I got to say about BMC. Some familiar songs, Syncopation, Headbanger, up next. A side note about Headbanger, that was the longest prayer in the history of the song.
Really?
Yeah. We were on our knees bowing for what felt like an hour. And it wasn't until I kind of got a peek up at the screen and then confirmed it afterwards. Baby Bones was back. The reason it was so long is some guys in Baby Bones costumes joined the Super Mosh Pit.
That's weird.
Yeah.
I did not understand that.
Yeah, I didn't either. I saw it and I was like, did I just see Baby Bones up on the big screen? Talking with everybody afterwards, that's exactly what happened.
That's
you know,
crazy.
and they weren't fans. You know, these were real Baby Bones. They got in the pit with Super Mosh.
Do you think Koba was there?
Maybe.
Well, I don't know if it was Koba or not, because there was more than one. I saw two.
Sure.
I saw two for sure. But yeah, that's why it took so long. And I don't know what they did in the pit. I couldn't see it. And I didn't talk to anybody. I didn't know anybody directly who had Super Mosh. So I don't know exactly what happened. But I can say they joined the pit, and that's why we were bowing for so long.
That's cool. That'll be interesting to see.
Yeah.
What winds up filmed from that.
Yeah, I mean, it was definitely on the big screen, so I imagine it'll be on the disc in some capacity. Yeah. So yeah, that's a thing. I don't know why, but it happened.
Yeah.
And then from Headbanger, we moved to Starlight, Shine, and Arcadia. As the
So they actually put all three
yes,
whatever they call.
yes,
What are they called?
Trilogy of Light.
Trilogy of Light. Yeah.
On the dark day, but whatever.
Yeah, whatever. Nothing new.
So one thing
or
that's
exciting there.
interesting about that, like we made it through, and I guess this happened at Tokyo Dome too, and we kind of knew from the format this was going to happen. But that was a show that did not contain Gimme Chocolate.
Yes, Night 2 did not have Gimme Chocolate.
It's pretty rare.
So yeah, Arcadia ended, fireworks, fake ending. I went into Night 2 assuming there was some date, because they were going to play with the commie bands were going to combine again, because they hadn't done it yet. So like, okay, they're probably going to do Road to Resistance again, because why would they prepare another song, that kind of thing, because that just makes sense to me.
Just to be sure that I understood this, the Western Comedy played all the way up to now, right?
Correct. The Western Comedy had played all of Night 2 to this point.
Okay. Yeah.
Suzuka Yuimoa in chat. Just to bring it back to Headbanger for a moment. Moa went down the 45-degree runway, and was visibly upset and mad at fans in the block for not headbanging correctly.
I bet she was acting.
Oh, I'm sure she was. But it was still really adorable. It was really funny. The one fan cam we have of it, she does it and she points a guy out and tells him to get down on his knees and start bowing, and that you can hear the camera guy say, "Oh, sumimasen," and then the video stops. Which was I thought was really funny.
That's funny. Imagine getting called out by Moa Metal in a giant show like that.
Yeah. I hope that makes it into the disc. That would be really funny.
Yeah.
Anyways, so yeah, back to the end of the show. We're still waiting. This was a really long break between the quote unquote end of the show, Arcadia, and what was obviously going to be an encore with the other set of Kami. We were chanting Baby Metal for what felt like about 15 minutes.
Right.
It was unusually long. It was definitely longer than the first night. And I think we know why now. So they finally get all in place. We can see the second drum kit's out. We can see the other set of amps out. There's more Kami on the stage. The lights come on and the video starts, and a black flying V guitar starts coming up the screen. And everybody knows what that means.
Everyone's brains melted.
Everyone's brains melted. I turned to a Japanese mate to my left. We grabbed each other by the shoulders and screamed at each other. apparently, I'm told this was not the only instance of something like that happening.
I feel like that's the only appropriate action to take.
Right.
I
And I
instantly...
assume that the listening public here also understands what that means, and if you hadn't already heard about what this was going to be, but it's a movie that we are familiar with from other older concerts.
Yes. So yeah, we're screaming at each other. I instantly start sobbing.
It's okay. We forgive you. Or we, join you or something.
Getting emotional thinking about it. And then those familiar piano notes start playing after we learn about bullying. What they're playing with the combined Kami band, all of the Avengers, is Ijime Dame Settai.
Mm-hmm.
This was the first time I had seen this live. They hadn't played this since I think we came up with Legend S. It was the last time they played it, which is I would say a bittersweet performance of that song, given the circumstances of that weekend. And I'll go so far to say as everybody thought that song was in the can forever. Never to be heard again.
I certainly thought so.
And, the metal gods taught us about Wall of Death. And then the piano starts and Sue starts singing. And everybody's crying and screaming.
Yeah. It must have been impressive too with so many people running around and fake fighting and things.
Yeah. So I only got glimpses of it. I'm told Moa and one of the Avengers, I'm not sure who, ran down the ramps that were coming out into the stage for the opening to the middle. Mm-hmm. I do remember seeing at one point during the fight, they were fighting in like sets of two, circling around each other. Before
that's kind of what they did in I guess it was Akatsuki and Dark Knight Carnival too. They kind of paired off.
Yeah. So similar there. Yeah, I gotta be real. I never thought I'd see that song live.
Yeah. And so that was the big shock. I mean, that was all the other stuff we kind of predicted, but nobody saw that coming. I don't think.
That was the biggest surprise of the weekend, hands down. And it was really cool seeing all this new stuff, but for me, this was 100% the highlight of the show and made the whole trip worth it. Just for one song, 6 minutes of my life. Because you just don't know when that old stuff is going to show up, especially that song with the history it has, the complex choreography, the rehearsal required to have it in the set list.
Right. And both Kami bands playing it.
And both Kami bands playing it. Yeah. So it was the Eastern Kami in their white joining the Kami of the West in black for the encore performance. Yeah, it was cool. It was special. It was just special. Yeah. That's really all I can say. Afterwards, we got out of the hall once everybody was out of the hall and was kind of upstairs mingling and talking about the show. There was just a group of us, Japanese fans, and some of the other foreigners that were all kind of close, and everybody was just joining the group, crying and hugging after the show. It was so endearing, and such a unique display of emotion from Japan in public. It was really pretty moving. Just incredible.
Beautifully crafted, as kind of like a way to surprise even those who are no longer surprised by BABYMETAL generally.
Yeah. There was a Reddit post not too long ago, who went to Japan, and these were his first Japan shows, and he did a little write-up, really eloquently written from Reddit user Polyfem. And I reached out to him because I wanted to borrow some of his material. So I'm just going to read that for you now, because it really sums up better than I could ever do what this whole experience was, especially after IDZ. So to quote Reddit user Polyfem, when the intro to IDZ started playing, tears uncontrollably streamed down my face. And that was the first time in life when I recognized one of the happiest moments of my existence as it was happening. As the backtracked piano was gently playing, accompanied by Sue's soothing, tranquil voice, I remember telling myself, you know what? You will vividly remember this moment when you are very old, and soon it is your time to go. Cherish this unbound, uncontained happiness that you feel, because you are feeling it right now. And he nailed it. He nailed it. Yeah, there's just nothing more to say.
Yeah.
It was really special.
Yeah, it's funny how words are failing. I understand. But like it feels like we should talk more about it, except that there isn't a lot more to add.
Yeah.
But it was it was impressive even on this side of the ocean.
Yeah. He goes on to say, and I'm gonna, I guess, kind of close out what I want to talk about Legend of Metal Galaxy with this from him. The band has finally healed, evolved, and become complete again, and burned Makuhari Messe into the ground. From every guitar shred on IDZ to the assault of bass and Sue's furious rapping on BMC, from the goofiness of Homage and I to the coolness of Brand New Day, from Moa's shining smile on Gimme Chocolate to her grim disapproval on Headbanger, from the hope of Arcadia to the unity of Road to Resistance, everything screamed, we are always fighting, and we will be better versions of ourselves every step of the way. And you will be strong with us, and you will become better versions of yourself too. We make sure to inspire you and push forward. I guess that is truly what it means to be the one.
Yeah.
English is not
Very
this
nice.
guy's first language, by the way. And he crushed the uses of the semicolon in there. And probably wrote something more eloquent than I ever could.
Yeah, no, that's I'm glad he wrote it so we could read it, and very well said.
Yeah.
So there are a couple things that we could say still about the show that coming down from the lofty parts that we were talking about, but we didn't talk. There were a couple of narrations that we did not hit, and there's probably one that's more important than the other. The ending of Night 2 did actually sort of talk a bit about the 2020 1010 event.
Yes, it did.
So,
it confirmed 1010 as the date for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Of at least something. And it also told us we'll learn more on Fox Day. So it was a teaser for a teaser. Yeah. But at least you can start planning travel, albeit you might not know where to get a hotel yet.
Well, yeah. I mean, so this I did transcribe, and this was again the Japanese narrator who finished this out.
Mm-hmm.
So, again, there's the same sort of business about like the legend about the massive middle galaxy that appears at the moment the sun and moon align. Accessing both the light force and dark force, BABYMETAL now approaches the countdown to doomsday, together with the ringing of the bell of destiny. and then they sort of zoomed by all the sort of like tour logo or the episode logos from, I think they started with Budokan and went up to Legend M.
Yeah.
And then it says October 2020. It has been almost a decade since BABYMETAL descended upon this earth. Metal Resistance has approached its finale, episode X, I guess. I don't know. 10X, I'm not sure. It was written, so all of this stuff was written both in English and Japanese. This was being spoken in Japanese. But, and so I don't know whether, what to make of the X there.
It'd be a 10 because we're on episode 9.
Yeah. Yeah, I only just it's like a Mac OS 10. What do you call that? Is it a 10 or an X? But we'll say 10. Okay, so where was I? Metal Resistance has approached its finale, episode 10. What will complete the end of the legend? What will the ultimate fate? What will be the ultimate fate that awaits? Only the Fox God knows. And then like 2020 1010 goes up with what I think is actually a new logo.
It is.
For that. So it's arranged in kind of like a compass rose form, but I think what it's made of is the approaching arc that you see from like the Future Metal video.
Mm-hmm.
And then there at the angles, at the 45-degree angles, there are sort of like stylized rockets launching out. And it says, Metal Resistance episode 10. All will be revealed on 4/1 Fox Day.
Yeah.
So I mean, I guess we know it's October 2020. They still haven't said that it's in Japan, but I mean, like, it's got to be, right?
It's the odds of it being anywhere else are so low. Though some of the Japanese mates were musing somewhat sarcastically that it might be MSG in New York.
Yeah. Well, I guess what I'm thinking is that I don't think we still have the information that allows you to buy flight tickets. Like, we didn't learn anything new that we didn't know before. It's as unlikely now as it was before.
Yeah.
To be outside of
Japan.
Japan.
I mean, if you want to be super safe, I'd wait till Fox Day to buy a ticket. But if you see a good deal, I'd just get a refundable ticket just in case.
But yeah, so that'll be basically 6 months out. From whatever this is. It's the way they're talking about it is more and more like the way they talk about shows, concerts.
Yes.
So, maybe it is. But Legend Metal Galaxy was really already so elaborate that I wonder how they're going to top this.
I don't know.
But I do want BBAB.
I do want to say
for 2 nights in a row.
I do want to say right off the bat, there's been a lot of speculation about this being the end of Baby Metal because they say Metal Resistance has approached its finale. They've used the word...
And they call it Doomsday.
But this is like lore language we've seen before. Doomsday is not, but we've seen finale.
Doomsday is, actually. We've definitely seen that before.
Have we seen Doomsday? I don't remember.
Yeah, so there's picking up on your point here that they talk a lot about these end times.
Right.
I think probably what I thought was the most plausible end time that they have ever had was Legend Z, which was the point at which Sue was graduating from SG.
Right.
And it might have really ended at that point.
Right.
And they had a Doomsday countdown clock, and that went through that show. And they actually, I don't know if you remember the show 24, but that was kind of going on at the similar time because they used that same the same like dink,
beep,
dink,
boop, beep.
Yeah. And it counted down to 0 at the near the end of the show, and they turned on the lights.
Yeah.
I mean, this was like the worst troll. And they had the logo, like the Baby Metal logo was behind the thing that counted down to 0 and it disintegrated. I mean, they were really pushing this hard. And actually this was even just beyond that. This was an unusual show too, in that, they came out in white. And that sort of at the end of the show, they, all took this very unusually deep, like sort of theatrical bow, like, thank you for doing, taking this journey with us. Sue says, take care of your neck, and takes off, like normally this is where they would say, see you.
Right.
The other two said see you, but she just took off. And so, I mean, like, even thinking about it is hard right now. It's like that could so much have been an actual end.
Right.
And they really played it up.
Right.
But they've played up things like this since then too. I mean, like Legend S, they kept saying like, "Is this the end?"
Right.
In the ads and stuff.
Cam reminds us in chat they called Tokyo Dome a Doomsday. All this to say, what I think is happening is literally what it says. we've been in the era of Metal Resistance since before that album dropped, and now we're going to enter a new era. What that means, I don't know. What I'm pretty confident saying is it's not the end of the band. And I justify that position with this. You don't launch an album, do your largest world tour in the history of your group, collaborate with all of these people, do all of this promotion, interviews, promote the album, do 23 dates in the US, followed by 20 something dates in Europe, go to countries for the first time like Thailand, Spain, and Russia. Then Russia, and then 6 months later end the band.
Yeah.
From a practicality standpoint, that makes sense. That makes no sense, excuse me. And from a management perspective, there's no executive at Amuse in the world who would approve something like that. Spending all of this money to push out this new album, go to all these places, do big shows like Legend Metal Galaxy, only to end the band 6 months later.
Yeah, at least not as a big planned thing like this.
Right, right. Not as a big event.
Yeah, I think that makes it pretty. I think I agree with all of that reasoning.
Yeah.
I mean, they are really. I think they are. It feels like they are on the verge of being even bigger.
Yeah, it does.
So, but I do think that it will probably mark a change.
I do too.
So they're going to stop calling it Metal Resistance.
Yes.
They might. It's conceivable they might even stop. With all the episodes.
Could be. Yeah, I think they'll just change it. We'll be living in the Metal Galaxy or something like that, or some other lore that Koba comes up with. My wild speculation for what all of this is going to be is in October on Doomsday, with the end of Metal Resistance, we're going to leave the past behind us. Yui's off doing her own thing. We have 3 Avengers. I think we're going to get anointed with one of these Avengers as a metal. I think that's what's going to happen, and that's going to mark the new era.
Okay, well,
you
have marked your prediction.
That is my wild speculation for the night.
Yeah, I don't know what I think. I mean, I see the practical advantage of somebody who's already got kind of like trained and proven and knows everything, and who people know.
Mm-hmm.
I think that it has been set up in such a way that there's a kind of a clunkiness to ditching too, right?
Yeah.
It's possible that any of these people might actually have something that that they're off to go do. So
yeah. Well,
Kano's already involved in a bunch of stuff.
She's graduating SG, and she has that new group 1-5 with the other SG seniors, who it kind of feels like Amuse is setting up to kind of take over for Perfume when Perfume finally decides they're done. That's just kind of the vibe I get from that.
Mm-hmm. So you think it's going to be the group that comes after Perfume is going to be named after the age of somebody graduating junior high?
It's kind of what it feels like, just because they don't have any other girl groups quite like that, and Perfume is such a big moneymaker. I could see them wanting to tee up 1-5 in a similar vein.
Yeah, but what a terrible name to pick if that's what they wanted to do.
Yeah. As far as I know, Momoko doesn't have anything else going on right now. She's not, right. As far as we know, she's not acting. She's not doing anything else. She's not signed with Amuse, if I recall correctly. Only Kano is. But she's young. Riho, not signed with anybody. She left her agency, I think it was like a year ago or something like that, from what I remember. And she's also the same age as Sue and Moa. So right. If this is what's going to happen, my brain tells me that Riho is going to join the group if that's what she wants to do. But my heart wants Momoko.
Right. Well, and see, that's the thing. I kind of wonder. I honestly do think that there was a certain amount of I don't know what to call it. Like, we've been played in a musical sense. No,
totally.
That the fans have been kind of managed in a way to going through the dark side, going through DNC, winding up here. You know, like I think that this has all been set up in a way to get us sort of like happy with the situation.
Yes.
But I think it's going to take some further direction to make it possible to ditch any two, really, because we've been encouraged to, know who they are. And,
well,
like we haven't been told who they are.
We have not been encouraged to know who they are. Not at all.
Yeah, well, we know there are three, and they're well aware that everybody knows who they all are. And also, there's the connection with SG where people are known, right?
Yeah.
I mean, like by name. So I think, I don't think they're so dumb as to think that we don't know who they are.
No, I don't think so either.
Not have attachments. So that's why I guess I've always been kind of wondering if when we leave the Avenger era, if we also leave all of the Avengers,
I think we'll leave 2 out of 3
for something else. Yeah. And I guess what I was thinking was potentially we get someone different,
Yeah.
None of those two.
Just like anything else. Yeah. Who knows with this group, right? It's all wild speculation. They could go a completely different direction and surprise us. But if it's going to be one of the 3 and they do, and my prediction comes to fruition, my gut says it'll be Riho. My heart says it'll be Momoko. And I've pretty much ruled Kano out. 1, because of the age, and 2, because she's got 1.5.
Yeah. No, I think my thoughts go pretty much that same way. I mean, like when I think about it practically, Riho has a pretty good there's good sort of, I don't know, logistical reasons for that to be.
Yeah, there's all kinds of good reasons.
The choice, yeah.
But only the Fox God knows. We'll find out in October. Yeah.
So let's see. There's actually, as we are speculating, there was one other bit of the soon-to-be obsolete speculations about the future that I wanted to mention, which is that, so Monday they start in Stockholm on the European tour, and now that we've talked about Legend of Metal Galaxy, there's an open question about, are they going to play any of these new songs that they promote that are new, right? That they hadn't played in front of people before. And one thought that I had about that, we know that the Western Kami Band is going on this tour, and they are not the ones who got all the new. The only thing that they got was BMC, right? That was new. Everything else was old.
Yes.
Which suggests, which I think sort of like weighs against the idea that they're going to play a bunch of the things that were premiered at Legend Metal Galaxy, because that means that both Kami bands had to rehearse them. Yeah. Brand New Day, Night Night Burn, Homage and I.
Yeah, my guess is it's going to be exactly the same as the US.
Yeah.
That's just me being cynical.
Well, and actually, come to think of it, BMC, they practice, but they're not likely to play it outside of Japan.
No. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe if they're particularly bored with something, they might swap something out and throw one song in there. Homage and I makes the most sense because they're in Europe, I guess.
I think it makes sense, and realistically, how hard is that to practice?
Yeah. It'll be really interesting. I can't wait for Monday to see what they do. But I fully expect it to be largely the same as what we saw in the US, because that's kind of what precedent is. When they go back on tours, they have as part of the same. I mean, it's really all one long tour. They just took a break in the middle to go back to Japan, right? Precedent is really that it's not going to change.
Well, we'll see. We'll see probably before this even hits the feed.
Probably, yeah.
But though, by the way, thank you everybody who's sitting in the Discord listening to this. This is actually a pretty crowded room.
Yeah.
And I guess we were recording long enough that we managed to, like, the people in other time zones woke up. But,
yeah, that was 2 hours. That was a long one. Thanks, guys, for sticking it out.
However, it is probably true that we should kind of close this one off. I think so. What's coming up in a couple of weeks, we are expecting WoW to play some of the Countdown Japan footage.
Yeah.
Which, it's funny how this stuff, all that, everything prior to Legend of Metal Galaxy seems like a million years ago.
It really does.
But, yeah, so I think probably what we are going to do again, we have not made a plan about what it is we are going to talk about, but I think we're going to try to pick some topic, and hopefully we'll make that public a little in advance, that we can talk about, that, you know, something from their past, like we mentioned at the sort of beginning of the last episode. So maybe a particular video or a concert or a song or interviews or some sort of specific thing that might be interesting to revisit. There's plenty of stuff to revisit. That I think would be interesting for new and old people. And there are people for whom, you know, Metal Galaxy got them into this. You know, there are new people. Hello, new people. But who might not really know all that back stuff. So, who don't know what that means about this guitar, this video of the guitar coming up and saying,
maybe that's
no more bullying forever.
Maybe we can do that, a deep dive on Ijime Dame Zettai.
Maybe we should talk about IDZ.
Yeah, that actually, maybe that's okay. So, unless something else comes to mind that seems way better, that is probably what we'll talk about next time, because there's the stuff. I mean, there's the evolution of the song through time. And that's one of the early ones that we have a real sort of like produced video for. We have also their commentary on it, which is really cool. So I think there's lots of stuff to talk about there. So good idea. That's our topic for next time. I will write that even in the show notes so I do not forget. IDZ! ! I think we probably only are going to record 3 episodes before Fox Day. And even the third one lands pretty close to Fox Day. So, pretty exciting. Yeah. Fox Day, I think, is when Legend M and the other one.
Yeah, maybe we should live record that one, huh? Or something.
Maybe like the countdown to 11:59 when we finally get a tweet that says, you know, the Fox Day announcement is that we'll learn all on April 3rd.
Oh, yes.
But and I think quite a lot of even by the next time we would record in a couple weeks, they will have probably covered Stockholm, Oslo, Copenhagen, Hamburg, Paris, Vienna, Cologne, Berlin.
Busy girls.
Unbelievable. Yeah. So, okay. Anything else anyone wanted to smash into this very long episode?
No. Yeah. Thanks, everybody.
All right. Yep. Thanks. So that's it for this episode. You can join us on the Baby Metal Podcast Discord to continue the conversation. Rating the podcast on whatever platform you listen on will help people find it, so please do that. We'll be back in about 2 weeks, and we hope you'll join us then. And until then, see you, and take care of your neck.